My role at Viacom is twofold. The first is I oversee our data partnerships, specifically the data that's used to potentially enable clients to execute advanced TV campaigns. And then I also oversee our addressable capabilities. So we have groups in our organization who kind of structure deals with our MVPD partners, and then I, with my group, operationalize that process and make it available for actual sale. So we have a blended product where you have advanced TV, which is data-driven TV, with a mix of addressable, which is a mix of digital, or I should say IP-based, because I don't really love the word digital, and linear and VOD, and a whole host of OTT and CTV.
Right. So Viacom obviously has a lot of options for audience viewing, which makes the data input, I'm sure, a bit complicated on the back end. Describe the partnerships that have worked in order to keep all of that, centric and manageable.
It's quite a challenge. So in reality, we have a lot of different partnerships, from our ad serving partnerships to our partnerships with our MVPD partners, to our partnerships with our measurement partners. So there's a lot of different companies that kind of help the ecosystem. But in reality, it is somewhat of a fragmented process, which requires a lot of work on our end to kind of cobble it all together. But realistically, we work with, FreeWheel as an example, as an ad serving partner. We have lots of MVPD partnerships that we have enabled addressability through. So it's a mix of a lot of different partners, but in the end, it takes us on many fronts to cobble all that information together through a lot of different kind of groups on our side as well.
Right. So how do you break down the audience demographics when you have an audience that is watching live versus watching on a streaming platform? How are you serving them with the right content at the right time and filtering that audience information into the content strategy?
Sure. So, on the linear side, we have a whole data science organization that's done a tremendous amount of work and labor to understand the consumption habits of our audience in the linear world, and to be able to build predictive models to kind of deliver to that. On the IP side, or the addressable side, it really is a one-to-one scenario. So when that person shows up, they're receiving the ad that they're meant to receive, and that could be any number of advertisers. So on our side, the reality is what the biggest challenge is we've enabled the ability to take data that comes from clients, push it through a privacy-safe environment, and then push it to our various destinations for addressable delivery, along with taking that information as it's being delivered in real time to help optimize what we're trying to do across the board in a holistic plan. So across data-driven linear and across addressable, we're taking all that information in as real time as we can get it and revising our plans and optimizing our plans to deliver success for our clients.
Right, and what's the evolution that you're watching in terms of addressable and the data and technology that's available there to really optimize these strategies? Is it moving where it needs to go? What are you kind of looking to see happen?
So it's certainly moving where it needs to go. There are some fundamental challenges in that a broadcast network like us, there's fragmentation. You have lots of varying distribution points, which again makes it challenging holistically to kind of deliver things across the board in ubiquity. But what we have seen is more and more kind of on-demand driving the opportunity to deliver more addressability. So as consumption patterns naturally shift, we shift along with it and ensure that we can provide opportunities to our advertisers to reach their desired audiences in the environments where those audiences are consuming our content. We're lucky enough to have obviously many networks, of which we have lots and millions and millions of watchers. And so, the more we learn about how people are consuming across our digital environments and across our IP environments, the more we're getting smarter about how we're not only pushing advertising to those people, but ultimately how we're looking to deliver the message to them. So, helping our clients with the creative side of the equation and thinking about what's the message that you want to deliver in an addressable world.
Right, and so with all of this, moving and changing at once, how do you measure success? How do you know that you're on the right track and that with this vast network of channels and audience members, you're hitting all of your targets?
Sure. So success is functionally very simple to determine. It's repeat business. We've gone from being one of the first to do advanced television to now having more than likely the largest advanced TV business of any broadcast company out there. And that is a direct example of success. Clients recognize that there's value in doing an audience-driven campaign. Obviously, it's a little different from the norm and what you might traditionally buy through a Nielsen demo, but more and more we see more and more dollars moving in this direction, and that kind of shows us that we're kind of good at what we do and we're being successful at it. Now, as more and more dollars shift to this environment, you will have other things that will start to determine success, whether that be attributable values or anything of that nature. But really for us, it's just the fact that people keep coming back and wanting to do more.
Mm-hmm. Great, and finally wrap it up, any advice you have for marketers that are looking to really optimize their budget and their strategy across all of these options?
Sure, I mean, I think the key is how are you organizing data on your end? How much do you understand about what's available in the marketplace and how you would use that data? Making sure that you have the right discussions with your vendors, specifically about how that data can be used. Even the best marketer is going to have a subset of data that more than likely has to be modeled to reach to scale. So what does that process look like? How are you ultimately making connections with your vendors that allow you to leverage your data? And then how are you organizing and open with them about getting information back and sharing information in a way that allows for us as sellers to be able to optimize for your success and at the same time ensure that you have confidence in what you're being, what's being delivered on your behalf.